Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the J Lounge. Of course, you guys know I am your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Smo Jackson, bringing you guys another great episode of the J Lounge. Of course, everyone knows out there the J Lounge is a celebrity-based podcast show. We talk with actors, singers, directors, you name it. They all come down here and they all have a really great time. As per normal, I am very excited to be introducing my guest for the day. They are actor and filmmaker, and I cannot wait for you guys to learn more about his work. So please give a super warm welcome to Dan Chicane. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Simone. How are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so glad I got you on here today. I appreciate you giving me your time. I'm going to go ahead and fire the first question at you. What began your passion for acting?
Oh man, I think it was watching commercials and when I was a kid and I would play back commercials and create commercials for my parents when they'd come home from work. I would get into costume, I'd get into my dad's clothes, my mom's clothes, and I'd create commercials that I saw on TV while I was watching Ricky Lake
Love it.
and Jenny Jones and all that stuff.
Yes.
I was loving all that stuff back then. And I loved talk shows. I loved Oprah while other kids were, in the playground. I was watching Oprah. And my parents then realized that I had something in me that needed to be released. So they put me at the Boston Children's Theater in Boston, and I started acting professionally since I've been a kid.
Love it. Love it. I'm so glad I'm not the only one that watched the Jenny Jones show or Ricky Lake. So that makes me so happy.
Yes.
I haven't heard anyone talk about the Jenny Jones show in years. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad I'm not the only one there. That's
All of
awesome.
those. I mean, there were more. There was like Maury and,
Yep. Jerry
my God.
Springer. Yeah,
Jerry
yeah, all of
Springer,
them. All of them.
Geraldo. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Sally Jesse Raphael. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you. I am telling you, talk shows back then were something else, I swear. Man, I miss those days, kind of.
I miss
Terrible.
those. I miss some of them. Not all of them, but I miss
Not
some
all
of
of them. Agreed. Agreed. Going on to the next question. As an actor and filmmaker, what stories are you interested in bringing to the forefront?
Wow, I'm interested in always playing characters that are out of the box, that are fish out of waters. Man, have I felt so, I hate to use the word weird, but like I like bringing attention to characters that people haven't even heard of, whether it's they're a culture or a place in the world or mental health issue that people don't talk about. I always like to bring up characters that have some sort of social justice issue that a lot of people are sitting at home and going, man, I wish I could see somebody like me, and bringing that to life. Those are the kinds of characters I really like
I
to bring
love
out.
it. Love
Yeah,
it. And those are like honestly the better roles, honestly, being a little weird, being a little out there. Those are the better roles. So I'm glad
absolutely.
that yeah, those are better roles to
I,
sink your teeth into.
Totally. And then realizing that as more and more as I grow up and I talk to people, I'm like, man, everyone is a little, there's a lot of layers to everyone. And so therefore, I don't even know about that whole weird thing. I'm like, I'm not weird, you're weird. Like I'm the normal one.
Exactly.
I'm the normal one. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I completely agree. Going on to the next question, number three. Name three people who influenced your career and why.
Okay, so my one of my acting teachers named Lola Cohen, when I first when I studied at NYU Tisch, I studied method acting, and from the first day, she realized that, I mean, I um, threw myself onto the chair on the stage. I didn't have to be told to get in the chair, and I loved it so much. And she's believed in me since I've been a freshman in college, and I think that is so important to find some sort of like mentor when you're
Hmm.
graduating because you don't know what the world is going to be like. And she's been there since day one. She's a method teacher at Strasberg. Another person is an actress who I met on my first um, uh, real job, who's named Catherine Cates, who unfortunately passed away last year. But she taught me how to be a hustler in the business. She taught me all the kind of underground ways to find work, to be creative in finding work. And making this interview in tribute of her because she really has taught me everything. She played my mother in a play that we traveled Europe with. And she's my New York City mother. Whenever I'm in New York City, I used to go to her. I'd sleep at her place. We were called the Dog and Pony Show around New York, where we would go together. Even though I'm not her real son, she would call me my son wherever we'd go, and we were like a package deal. And a third person I would say is probably someone like Joe Pesci, because my
Oh,
first movie that I ever was obsessed with was My Cousin Vinny, which I put on in the
oh
third
my
grade.
goodness. Yes.
And I directed that. I took the movie and I wrote it down, every word, and I performed it in third grade with my friends on a stage in the after school program. And I wrote to Joe Pesci and he wrote me back. And I just
No
love that
way.
guy.
Oh
Yes,
my
yes.
God. I'm so jealous. Oh my God.
He was so cool. And until today, he's like one of those actors where you don't see him a lot, but when he comes out and he's so amazing and he's so kind of mysterious. You don't really know what's going on in his life. And that character and Marisa Tomei, those two are just I love them both.
I mean, Joe Pesci, I feel like is the American gem of cinema. Like, honestly,
Yep.
he really is. I mean, I first recognized, Joe Pesci in the Lethal Weapon series. And then from there, seeing his early work. But yeah, when he's filming, he just nails everything. It is just
Everything.
executed flawlessly. And
Yes.
that's a great choice to have because he's just an actor that can just do it all.
He could do it
You
all.
believe everything. I mean, look, when he was it the Goodfellas was he in?
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I honestly thought he was a real gangster. Like honestly, I thought that was his real life. Like
Yep.
honestly, he did that so well. I
So
really
well.
thought he was a gangster. I was like, oh dear. Is he like moonlighting as an actor and like
Right.
being a gangster is like his normal job? So
You know
it's
what?
just
I
yeah.
I wonder if he really has had some. I don't know his background, but like you never
Honestly,
know.
he's from New
Yeah.
Jersey, so it wouldn't be surprising to me. He's from
Right,
New
right.
Jersey. I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
He hangs around that possible crowd that could
Exactly. Exactly. You got to be tough to be from New Jersey, okay? That's
Yes.
just it. You just do. So,
Yep.
all right. Going on to the next question, Dan. What's been your best role to date?
Oh, one of my favorite roles that I played was a play in LA when I first moved to LA, and it was called On the Spectrum. It was about a young man who falls in love with a woman who is on the spectrum as well, and she only speaks through a proloquo, and it was one of the most amazing plays I've ever done because I got to know the autistic community of LA. I
Mhm.
learned so much about autism and being on the spectrum. I'm not, I've probably fall somewhere on the spectrum. But the kids that came to the play, we had a bus of kids that came from Arizona to see it who were autistic, and they came to see it and they all came crying, hugging us after, saying, "This is the first time I've ever seen an autistic character like me on stage." And just that kind of when I was saying, but bringing it back to like making an impact on people, that play was probably the game changer, both in my career and both in my kind of what I want to do in the future, in terms of acting and why I want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's powerful. And I'm glad that you were able to do something like that and learn more about autism because autism is still one of the things that is so um, still not understand, still has a lot
Yeah,
of misinformation about it. And so, yeah, something like that is quite powerful because, we still have a little bit of an issue, showing autism, representing autism in a way on screen, good representation. So that's powerful that you were
absolutely.
able to do that and was able to impact those kids. That's what's most more important.
Absolutely. And we did a lot of research. I went to an autistic school. I went to a prom, which was amazing, where kids, I mean, I felt so free at that place. And it's like I grew up feeling not that free. And I was just with those kids and I just felt like, oh, like I found some of these my people that I could
Yeah.
hang out with and dance to, and no one was judging anyone, and we were all having a good time. And more I kind of realized like how wide the spectrum is of autism. It's very,
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
nuanced.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is so awesome. That is beautiful. That is
Yeah.
beautiful. Going on to the next question, Dan, I want to make sure my audience follows you and your work. Where are you on social media?
Absolutely. My Instagram is my name, Dan, Dan, last name Shaked, Shaked. And that is both my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Dan Shaked.
And I highly encourage
All
my
three.
audience, make sure you follow Dan Chiquette on all social media platforms. We definitely want to see more of his work, so make sure you support him, give him a shout out, all of that. So make sure you do so.
Thank
Going
you.
on, yeah, of course. Going on to the next question, what future projects are you involved with right now that you can dish about to the J Lounge audience?
Ooh, well, I recently filmed two projects that should be coming out in the next probably year. One of them is called The Invisible Girl. It is a
Ooh.
based on loosely on a Mary Shelley story who wrote Frankenstein. Um,
Ah,
Yes, and it's a kind of goth twist. It's a queer twist on it, and we shot it in
ooh.
a artist residence house in upstate New York. For we were about like 15, 20 people, just kind of friends that came together and filmed in this house, which is going to be really cool. And it's very cool. Yeah, it's coming out. It's called Good. No, that one's The Invisible Girl. And the other project is called Good Grief, which I filmed in LA recently. And it's about a young woman who her mother dies and her way of dealing with grief and all the noise that kind of comes around while you're first dealing with the neighbors, with the friends,
Ah,
with the boyfriend, with the sister's boyfriend, and all the people that you're dealing with talking to you and chattering in your face while you're just trying to grieve. So that should be coming out
yeah.
too. Those are two feature films that I did.
Those 2 projects sound exciting, especially The Visible Girl. I have a special place in my heart for gothic films. I love the look of it. Of course, Tim Burton, one of my favorite gothic directors of all time.
Love, love Tim Burton.
Really?
Yes.
Just gonna put that out there. Sleepy Hollows is still hands down one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the look of it and the gothic feel. They nailed it, perfectly.
Yeah,
So I'm all excited for it for the Invisible Girl. I love the gothic appeal. So, and it sounds like it'd be a really, really great story. So, as more developments happen, make sure you keep us here at the J Lounge here, notified because we definitely want to learn more.
absolutely.
Bro,
I will definitely let you know. I love that. I love that.
yes, and good grief. I think it's, I really do believe it's, really more important than ever to really show grief on representation on screen because everyone
Mm,
goes through grief differently. So, honestly, one of the best movies that I've seen right now about grief, and I know people are gonna be like, really, but it's gonna be Black Panther. They really captured
mm,
the grief
mhm.
of that nation as they tried to move on without their leader, without their king. I thought it captured it perfectly. So I'm honestly really more interested on the good grief because like I said, grief is represented differently and affects everyone differently. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
oh,
Love
I'm
that.
excited for that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Going on to the next question. Dan, what goals do you hope to accomplish in your careers?
Ooh, I hope to find a good role for myself in TV. I've done a couple of guest stars in TV, and I'm dying to get back into it. I'm dying to find some dark comedy that's really dark. So I'm aiming for a good TV role. And I would love to kind of going on the good grief thing. I've gotten into a little bit of like the mental health world. I'd love to be a therapist one day, and I'd love
Oh,
to be able to be a therapist and an actor, if I can at the same time.
ooh, ambitious. Very
Yes,
ambitious.
I'd love that. I'd love to do marriage and family therapy. I'm just so into that, and I feel like one could fuel the other. You know, when I'm on working on a movie, then it'll fuel the work that I do with clients if I can do it, and if I'm with
Yeah.
clients, it'll fuel my acting. And I've always wanted to do that, and I always thought that I have to be very narrow-minded in terms of my acting career. And I thought, you know what, this is the time to try something else too, and throw it in the toolbox. So that's my future, I hope.
That is incredible. That would be
Yeah.
the first, therapist, actor at the same time. That would be, yeah, I can see that working. I can definitely see that working.
I just have to make sure that my clients don't recognize me. That's the one
Exactly.
thing.
Now that
Yeah.
is going to be, yeah, like you're speaking to them like, hey, where'd you want that movie from?
Exactly.
It's
Yes.
not like you on
And
TV.
sometimes I tend to play a little non-kosher roles
Mhm.
and maybe a little dark and creepy. And sometimes I'm like, I have to make sure to, uh, distinguish between the two. Yeah.
I don't want to scare my clients away.
Yes. Yes.
Completely understand. Completely understand. All right, Dan, just got a couple more questions for you going on to the next one. What's been some of the most rewarding moments in your career so far?
Oh, some of the rewarding moments have been two things. One of them was doing this one night. It was a benefit for the ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, where I got to share the stage with Carol Kane, the actress, and we did 4 or 5 short plays that each dealt with a social justice issue. And that night was so powerful. I have goosebumps right now. Doing that, sharing the stage with such an icon was amazing, and also raising money for such an important cause was really amazing. And another one that someone that came to see me that night actually did contacted me about 7 years later. We're talking about, or 6 years later, talking about last year or 2 years ago. And he said, I saw you in that play in back years ago, and I'm doing a one night benefit for the Provincetown Theater in Massachusetts with Kathleen Turner, who's going to be playing your mother.
Oh
And
my
that was to
gosh.
benefit Provincetown Theater. And she played my mother in this really funny, but also really heart wrenching play about a family that deals with death, but in a funny way, where the sister comes with a game and everyone has to talk about how they feel about death and how they think they're going to die. And you watch it happen both in the future and in the present. And Kathleen Turner played my mom, and it was unbelievable. I mean, those were the two nights that were incredible for me.
Carol Kane and Kathleen Turner.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, you can't get any more lucky than that. I
No,
mean,
yes.
oh wow. Oh wow, Kathleen Turner, she's been doing the damn thing for years. They both
Years.
have, really. I
And
mean,
yes, and they were both fabulous. They're both fantastic in their own ways. Carol Kane is hilarious. Kathleen Turner is hilarious. She has that bravado, that just grounded bravado. She opens her mouth and you die laughing, Kathleen Turner. I mean, she is
love
just,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
So
And of
now I
course,
can, yes.
oh yeah,
Now
go
I can
ahead.
say that I was going to say, now that I played Kathleen Turner's son in something, I can, I can quit. I can
Yeah,
retire. I did
yeah,
it.
exactly. Like I reached my goal, so I can.
Yes.
I don't know about everybody else, but I've reached my goal, so I'm gonna go home.
I'm good. I'm good.
I love that. I love that. Going on to the next question, Dan. What are some of your passions outside of acting and filmmaking?
Oh, so I'm a big ping ponger. I love playing ping pong. I love playing ping pong. I love playing tennis. I love playing bingo. I sometimes will go around the country, and wherever I am, if I'm visiting someone, I'll find like a really dumpy bingo hall and sit in like the basement of some like, synagogue or church or whatever it is, and I will play with those old ladies all day long. I have the best conversations with them, and I love playing bingo. I don't know what it is. It's just like a concentration thing. Not the gambling part, but the concentration thing.
No, not the gambling part, but the
Not the
actual
gambling
game.
part. But I just love buying like 50 boards and being like completely enveloped in like the whole thing. So that's a little tidbit about me, that I'm a big dumpy bingo hall player.
I love it.
So
I love it. I know some of my audience will be like this. Wait, people still play bingo halls in the synagogues and church? Yes, yes, they do. And those
they
ladies are
absolutely
dead serious about that game.
are.
Okay,
You have
okay. I don't mess with those old ladies. I'm sorry, they take that game. It's like their lifeline.
If I don't hear a number or something and I have to ask the lady next to me, she'll be pissed because like
Yeah,
I'm
they will.
getting in her
Like you're
way.
not paying attention. Like,
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh, it can get ruthless. It can get ruthless. I love it. Uh,
Yep.
all right, Dan, going on to the last question. What are
Yeah.
some advice you can give to aspiring actors and filmmakers who are hoping to have a career as successful as you?
Oh, I would say M m you're gonna find work and you're gonna meet people that you're gonna be creative with 'em in the most bizarre situations and lean into those situations. When I was younger, I was worried about talking to someone or sitting at an airport gate or, on an escalator, I'm stuck in an elevator. Those are when I met people, and those people, when you have those moments and they say, "Oh, I'm a lighting designer," or I'm whatever, stick to those people because they'll remember you and you're going to work with them. And so talk to everyone, meet everyone, work on everything. Don't say yes to everything to burn yourself out, but say yes to most things because you never know what's going to happen with something, whether it's the character or the writing. Find something that you like and be creative all the time because that work begets work, and being creative and fueling your mind will make you even sharper for the next thing you do. So that's my biggest advice is just work on everything everywhere while you're traveling, visit festivals, visit theaters. Doesn't matter if you're with your parents or you're on your honeymoon, you never know what's going to happen. And I just love that kind of butterfly effect feeling.
That's so true. That is so true. I
Yeah.
mean, some of our biggest stars, just by going to the mall or bumping into somebody, they become, they get an audition or they get that, recording studio session, and then now to fame and fortune that they go because they just happen to bump into the right person who just happened to be at the
Absolutely.
mall at that day because they still go to the mall, they still go to grocery stores, they still do all these simple things that people don't think that they do. Well, yeah, they still do. They're
Exactly.
constantly looking for that talent, and that hidden talent is everywhere. So
Is everywhere.
yeah,
And that grocery store worker who you're talking to all the time, invite her to your play because she'll come to the play, and then the next thing you know, she might be at the grocery store checking someone and saying, "Oh, I saw this great play the other day," and she'll invite someone. So you never really know what's going to happen. And I love opening doors that are kind of I call them trap doors. And you just kind of find those trap doors where like you don't think there's going to be gold behind it, but always lean into those situations. So
I
that's just,
agree. I agree
yeah,
because the minute that you think there's no gold, there's a big pot of gold just waiting to be claimed,
waiting.
just
Like,
waiting.
oh,
Yes, just
I'm just
waiting.
like,
I
the
com-
world really is your oyster, Yeah,
yes, that is so
yeah,
true.
yeah.
That is so true. I completely agree. I completely agree.
So happy we're on
Dan,
the
I
same
I know.
page.
I was like this. I'm feeling a mutual connection here, man. I
Yeah, me
really am. I
too.
love it. I love it. Dan, you have been the absolute pleasure to speak with. I am so glad I was able to get you on my phone on an interview and be able to have my guests know about you and your work. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Simona. It's been great to talk to you.
Oh, it's an awesome. This is awesome. I cannot wait for, for more of your work. Make sure you keep us posted on The Invisible
Absolutely.
Girl, Good Grief. We want to
Yeah.
know more about those, for sure. And of course, I want to highly encourage my audience one more time. Make sure you follow Dan Chicade on all social media platforms. Check out the work, say hi. And as he says, get out there, go to plays, go to theater. You never know. You never know.
Never
I
know.
understand social media has been one of the biggest, forefronts of finding entertainment, but people still go to theater. They still go to the
That's
library. They still do all of these things because
yes.
the talent is there. It's hidden everywhere, not just on social media. It's everywhere.
Yep.
So I agree with Dan. Get out there. It's sunny. Go grab it.
Exactly. You know, go to some black box theater that no one's heard of that you
Yes.
never know what you're going to find there, and you never know who's going to be the next what, and you never know if you're going to find a role there that you're going to go, "Oh my God, I'm dying to do that role." Just be curious. Just be curious. Yeah.
Exactly. And don't be afraid. Do not be
Oh,
afraid. I completely
no.
agree.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, I want to thank everyone listening in to my amazing interview with Dan Chicade. I want to thank him for being an incredible guest one more time. I want to thank everyone for listening in. Of course, you guys know I've been your hostess with the mostest, Miss J, aka Miss Mo Jackson. I will be back with another great episode of the J Lounge. Till then, everyone, enjoy that sun, stay cool, and I'll be back soon. Bye.
Bye.